The PGA Tour's postseason is facing a rebellion from its own players. 11 of the game's biggest names are pushing back against Brian Rolapp's new postseason plan, and the reasons behind the protest have sent shockwaves through the golf world. Scottie Scheffler called it silly. Rory McIlroy asked, "Why would I care about the first two?" Matt Fitzpatrick said the whole system is weird, and Collin Morikawa is questioning why the tour removed a rule he actually liked. Scottie Scheffler has been the most dominant player on the PGA Tour all season. He leads the FedExCup standings. He has 11 top 5 finishes in 17 starts. He secured the regular season points race and earned a $10 million bonus. And yet, when asked about the playoff structure, he didn't hold back. "I think it's silly," Scheffler said. "You can't call it a season-long race and have it come down to one tournament." His complaint is not new, but his timing is. Scheffler opened the playoffs with a 61 at TPC Southwind. He leads by 3 strokes heading into the weekend. He is playing like a man possessed, and still he is worried that it might not matter. The format is simple. After the first 2 playoff events, the points reset to 0. All 30 players at the Tour Championship start from scratch. The winner of the Tour Championship is the FedExCup champion. Scheffler's concern is that his dominance throughout the season could be erased by one bad week at Eastlake. The man who could win the first 2 playoff events and still not be the champion is speaking out, and he's not alone. Matt Fitzpatrick, who sits second in the standings behind Scheffler, has been one of the most vocal critics of the current format. Speaking ahead of the BMW Championship, the Englishman questioned the need of the end-of-season showdown. "I understand the playoffs in the US are a very big thing in other sports, and it's obviously hard to do that with golf because of the format of golf," Fitzpatrick said. "I think the player who has played the best all year from January to next week deserves to be the FedExCup champion, the guy who has made the most points, which, is going to be Scottie Scheffler pretty much, and that's how it should be." Fitzpatrick's complaint is simple. The playoffs reward one good week over an entire season of excellence. He pointed to Collin Morikawa, who was 3rd in the standings entering the 2024 playoffs on the back of a major win, yet finished 25th after 3 poor weeks and missed out on the bonus money that should have matched his year. "I do feel like it is a bit weird," Fitzpatrick said. "It's kind of like, yeah, you just need to be top 50. You can kind of get yourself settled before even last week." The Englishman is calling for a system that rewards consistency over drama, and he's not alone. Rory McIlroy has been the most vocal critic of the new structure. He famously skipped the first playoff event in 2025 because he knew his position in the standings was secure. McIlroy's logic is airtight. He just needs to be in the top 30 heading into the Tour Championship to have a chance to win the FedExCup. So why would he care about the first 2 events? "So why would I care about the first 2? McIlroy asked at the Open Championship. "I sort of came to that decision last year, and I'm just sort of doing the same thing." The loophole has been called the Rory rule, and it has exposed a major flaw in the playoff system. If a player can skip the first event and still coast into the Tour Championship, the playoffs have lost their meaning. McIlroy has proposed a fix. "I've heard this idea kicked around, where everything resets after Wyndham, and then the top 70 just play for the top 50 spots to get into the next week, and then everything resets again here, and then the top 30 from this week then make it to the Tour Championship." The man who once dominated the playoffs is now its biggest critic. Collin Morikawa has experienced a strange season in 2026. He finally returned to the winner's circle in February with his victory at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, but he injured his back just 1 month later and has struggled to find consistency since. Yet, when asked about the playoff format, Morikawa offered a surprising defense of a rule that has been widely criticized, the starting strokes format. "Yeah, I didn't mind even when I started at even or 1 under. I didn't mind the starting strokes," Morikawa said. "I get it. People don't like it because it's too much going on. People don't know where to pay attention to, but I thought it rewarded a good regular season." Morikawa pointed out that the starting strokes format gave players who had performed well throughout the season a tangible advantage. It gave some purpose to having that, he said. His comments highlight a fundamental divide among players. Some want a clean slate for the playoffs. Others want the regular season to matter more. The man who was third in the standings before the 2024 playoffs is defending the system that didn't work for him. Brian Rolapp has been exploring a radical alternative, match play. At a press conference before the players, the PGA Tour CEO revealed that match play could make its long-awaited return to the schedule, and it could even be the format used for the Tour Championship. "We have heard from our fans and our partners. They want more drama," Rolapp said. "We're considering the potential integration of match play, either at the Tour Championship or across the postseason as a whole, bringing win-or-go-home moments to the conclusion of our season." The idea has been met with resistance from some players. Adam Scott pointed out the challenge. "It's hard to wrap your head around. You play one style all season, and then your final event is an entirely different format." Tony Finau echoed the concern. "We don't play one match play event during the regular season, and to have us play match play seems awkward." But Rolapp isn't backing down. There are all sorts of models that are being talked about. Medal match play, other things. Nothing has been decided, and it would be a waste to debate it here. The Tour is considering a radical change. The players are divided. 11 players are pushing back against Brian Rolapp's new postseason plan. Scheffler called it silly. Fitzpatrick called it weird. McIlroy asked, "Why would I care?" Morikawa is defending a format that most players hate. The Tour Championship format has been a point of contention for years. Players have largely agreed that the current format, whether starting strokes or the clean slate approach, doesn't work. The questions now are impossible to ignore. Should the FedExCup champion and the Player of the Year be separate awards? Can the Tour create a format that rewards consistency and still delivers drama? And what does the player revolt say about the future of professional golf? One thing is certain, the battle is far from over, and the golf world will be watching every move.